What is up, folks? We're here with another Weebaholic podcast. Let's get it. Let's go. From the bed, by the way, peep the Bleach posters. I have a very special guest. Please introduce yourself, man.
What's up, y'all? My name is Robert. I am the host of That Needs to Talk podcast and excited to talk about what I do as well as some potential anime and manga stuff.
Let's go. Before we get in the episode, you guys will like, comment, subscribe, turn your notification bell notified for all weeb stuff. That's Anime Gensho everywhere from TikTok, Instagram, all podcasting platforms, and YouTube, of course. You can go follow my two co-hosts at RGAP2. That's his podcast page, and you can find him anywhere. And my other co-host, Eyes of the Lens. He should be posting pictures, his graduation pictures soon. And I know he just had if you're in the North Carolina to Georgia area and you want any type of photography, please go hit him up. He does a great job. But now, let's get to the weeb talk. I am honored to join, I listen to your podcast, honestly, more than you probably think I do. Because, it's just cool to see, like, I guess, like a parent perspective on how anime is. And see you talk about your kids is very wholesome, too, by the way.
Thank you.
So, how'd you got into anime? How'd you get into anime?
So, for me, like, I guess kind of like a lot of people growing up in the kind of like mid 90s to late 90s was through Toonami.
Right.
Because, definitely before the time where we truly understood what the term anime was, it was just more so, oh, hey, this is a really cool cartoon that's on when I get home from school. And it wasn't until, years later with hindsight, it's like, oh, okay, that was anime. So it kind of explains like, oh, why it kind of had a different feeling and vibe to it versus, Darkwing Duck or Power Rangers. So for me, a lot of that was, like I said, after school time. So hey, get off the bus, just run straight to the TV, watch my, Dragon Ball, Hamtaro, and then of course, can't forget the Saturday mornings with Digimon. That man, I just even me just saying that,
right, nostalgia
brings back so many good memories of just waking up early Saturday morning, turning on my TV and just hearing the Digimon, and then to the late nights of Saturday with Inuyasha and Death Note and all this stuff in the middle of the night. So that's kind of where I kind of got my general start from with a lot of the anime stuff back then.
Right. Like I talked to like a lot of people in that, like, well, I guess I would say maybe late 20s to probably early 30s. Toonami was that thing to get everybody Toonami really was like, I guess, kind of like Crunchyroll before Crunchyroll. So it's pretty cool that like it brought a lot of people, and like even still to this day, I know Cartoon Network like at night it gets really, really weird, but like if you stay up long enough, you might get like a My Hero episode or episode or Naruto episodes here and there, stuff like that.
And with Toonami, that is something that kind of excites me for potential generations to come, because while yes, there are a lot more options and stuff nowadays, like you said, like Crunchyroll and Funimation and a whole host of other things. I remember because I was in college when Toonami came back, which I think that would have been like 2011, 2012, spring of that time. And I'll never forget when they did it for a April Fool's joke, or it was April Fool's Day. And the schedule on Cartoon Network for that night was definitely nothing anime related. But I remember because that was like one of the earliest I had started getting into Twitter, and I started seeing people talking about Toonami, Toonami, and it's like, wait, what's going on? And then everybody, that was like one of the first times in a while that I've turned on the TV to watch something on TV, and it's like, yo, Toonami is back. And it's like, oh, psych, it was a April Fool's thing, but the response and the hunger was so big that they fully brought it back within the month, and here we are, like I said, like almost 10 years later, them still going really strong. So to Toonami.
And one thing I think watching when anime, like, because like I've told people, like I went to Japan, right? Like about summer of 2019. So just to see like the way they consume anime too, like anime comes on as like a normal, like seeing anime on TV for them is just normal, like normal. Like it's just so like, so seeing anime come on TV like a network, I know like it's you know, you can watch it on a website or whatever, but it just feels like different. Like you actually like anime actually matters, if you know what I mean. Like, it's up there type of thing. So I think Toonami had a big impact for like people, like I said, late 20s or maybe mid 20s, 30s or whatever. So I wanted to ask you, all right, so out of like the big three, because that's kind of your era type of thing. What, like, you know, One Piece, Naruto, Bleach, which out of those three do you think you gravitated towards?
I'm trying to think because honestly, I was pretty heavy onto Naruto and Bleach kind of almost simultaneously. One Piece is something that I didn't really get into until within like the last like 5-6 years, since like 2015. So yeah, so for me, it was for sure Naruto and Bleach for me were kind of neck and neck.
It's sad to see that, like how Bleach kind of like crumbled after the first arc. Like we're doing a whole Bleach Virgin pod, and it's just like my two other guys on there that I'm just like, well, after this arc, it's gonna, you know, just kind of goes down, you know.
Yeah, but I feel like for me, I still found
enjoyment though. I still like
moments along the way that I did still enjoy. But yeah, I kind of agree in some sense of it was like man, a super strong start, wavering here and there, couple strong spots here and there, and then you know.
But I think this when it comes back in mid 2022, that's gonna be like, this is like big, like people don't realize how big. Like this was one of the biggest anime / mangas of its time. Like this coming back, like this matters. Like this is gonna, and it's gonna be like uncensored. They're gonna make a lot of money. They're gonna make a lot of money.
I am definitely very excited to see that final arc in motion. Just because it was, it's a lot of good things for you know, anybody that never made the jump over to the manga and have just been waiting all these years. I'll just say, you know, there is many hopes and dreams will be fulfilled, because you know it was like when the anime ended, it was like, man, I wish we could see this and this person's bankais or whatever. And I feel like, you know, a lot of those requests kind of got answered. Maybe not the way we wanted, but we got something.
Yeah, and then with Naruto, I think it's like, I wanted to ask you, is it kind of cool to see like you're like, you know, you're a dad now, and like, you know, Naruto's a dad now, and like he has kids, but like, do you see any correlation between like the Naruto Boruto relationship with you, like you having kids?
Not too much with Naruto, but you know, I have had a couple moments of bonding with my kids over Naruto, because on two fronts. So my 8-year-old, one day out the blue, he started watching Naruto. So originally their room was right next to my room. And so, you know, I'm in my room chilling, and I'm hearing some people speaking in Japanese. and I'm like, okay, I'm pretty much, you know, it's usually mainly just me and my wife that watch anime in the house. And so I'm like, I kind of paused. I'm like, what am I hearing? And then actually, I'll take that back. Obviously, my kids, it would have been the dub. But anywho, I was hearing sound effects and stuff, whatever. And I'm like, where is that coming from? I'm like, is something auto playing on my phone or what? And then I'm like, is that Naruto? And my 8-year-old just in the room, just chilling, watching Naruto. And so that was like a really cool moment of like, he kind of got into that a little bit on his own, as well as my oldest boy's best friend, or one of his best friends, is big into Naruto as well. Because I'll never forget, one day he came over to the house, and I went to go answer the door, and he's standing at the door with the Naruto headband on. And I'm like,
that's lit.
I wanted to be like, yo, kid, what do you know about some Naruto? You know, because they're you know, 11, 12 years old. So I'm like, what do you know about that Naruto? But that, you know, that has been a cool thing, to kind of, my kids and stuff to kind of start getting into that a little bit. But yeah, as far as the direct question with the whole Boruto thing, yeah, in some ways I do see some type of connection, but for me, I think just because of how long I've been with the series,
Right.
I just don't, think of Naruto or have that connection,
Right.
with Naruto that way. So
Right.
yeah.
I feel you. So have you read JJK? Because I like to ask people this. So do you see?
Oh yeah.
I think JJK is more like Bleach. Do you see
Yes.
it as Bleach or Naruto? Like as somebody who read and seen both.
I definitely put JJK definitely more in the Bleach camp.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I think it's definitely just kind of more of like the direct correlation between the curses and the hollows.
Right.
It's like, to me, it's like, hey, that's all the proof you need right there of
Right.
that kind of connection. So yeah, definitely.
And it's a little more
Yeah.
darker. It's more like a dark theme, like more kind of like I guess like a Halloween-esque like with Dora, Ichigo. I mean, they're both MCs. They're not really out to really have like a main. They're not saying I want to be the Pirate King or
Yeah.
Kage or like they're just kind of like kids going to school. They got dope
Yep.
powers.
Yep.
Just like they kind of have to go with the flow of having those dope powers.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I definitely agree with you there, because yeah, that is something that a lot of series over the years, primarily like within like the shonen realm, like you said, it is that thing of like, oh, I'm gonna be the Pirate King, the Wizard King, the Hokage, the list goes on.
Number one hero.
Yeah. Whereas, like you said, it's like Ichigo and Itadori just like, hey, I'm just out here just trying to help people, just be a good guy.
Right.
That's where they kind of boil down to. They don't
And I
have these
think that's
big
like
aspirations.
that's interesting because it's like that's probably how like a lot of people in my because Ichigo's what 15, 17. So we're all like I guess
Yeah.
I could kind of relate to that. Like I'm not really out here trying to be if I was to get it, I'm not trying to be a number one hero if I had some powers. I'm just trying to look out for whomever. So
Yep.
it's like as you get, I think like Bleach. I think Bleach. I know it's a shonen, but I feel like it's more like it's like shonen with a grasp of a little older to like teens to adults, while maybe
Yeah.
Naruto could start off for like younger kids type of thing, which
Yeah.
is a good whatever. But yeah, I really like JJK. It's really good. I need to pick up the
Mhm.
manga. I'm trying to find volume 0. It's very rare.
Oh
I
yeah.
might just have to read it. I hate reading online, but I might just have to. Like,
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Yeah. Real quick, because you speaking on the manga stuff.
Mhm.
So I've only become a recent convert to the physical manga, because I've been, on the opposite side of like for many years of like, man, like, hey, I can read on my phone or tablet, it's
I
just
can't
right
do that.
there. But I guess pretty much like back when I started my podcast a few months ago,
Mhm.
and I went and bought my first two physical manga, which was Villain Saga and 20th Century Boys.
Mhm.
And the first time I had them in my hands and was
So
turning
different.
the pages, I was like, oh no, I've been pulled in. And
Yeah.
so, but I've tried to set like a boundary for myself of like, okay, stuff that I'm already reading, like the One Pieces and stuff like that, I'll just continue reading digitally, because
Yeah.
for one, that's a lot
That's a lot of money. That's a lot
to,
of money you're gonna be
to
spending
buy.
some manga.
But what's up?
I was saying that's a lot of money and it's a manga, man. That's a lot of money.
Yeah,
Manga is expensive.
yes. And so what I kind of been trying to do with my manga stuff is getting series that aren't necessarily as, something, the best phrase, I guess, like as big
Yeah.
in a way as like the One Pieces and Naruto's and stuff, whatever, and that aren't as officially available digitally, So yeah, so I've definitely been enjoying it. So, because matter of fact, if you don't mind me a slight tangent,
Yeah.
my wife actually, right before we recorded, she
Mhm.
surprised me with some early Father's Day gifts.
Hey, let's see them.
So She got me Smoking Parade Volume 3.
I've heard a lot of good things about that manga.
Yes. So for anybody that's curious, this series is created by the same person who did Dead Man Wonderland. I didn't even find out about that until probably like the day when I bought the first one recently. So I still haven't even started the first one, but she wanted to go and hook me up with that. So excited to check that out. This one is called Zom 100. I think it's like a zombie type of manga. Yeah, another one that I've heard good things about, and I'll need to go and get the first volume of, but looking forward to that. And then this is one she got on a whim, Beastars.
Now I'm iffy about the anime. I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of iffy about it.
But, yeah, same here, because I had started watching it whenever it came on Netflix a year or two ago, whenever that was, and I just kind of just stopped for no particular reason. I just fell off of it or whatever. But hey, she surprised me with that, so that kind of gives me a reason to kind of go back to it. So yeah.
Okay. So this is my next kind of guess topic or question for you. Yeah. What do you think? I got one more, like, I guess, big three-ish question, because that's kind of like I wanted to talk about that. Yeah. I'll get to more, whatever. Where are you at in One Piece, like, currently, and like where do you see it going for wherever you are at?
Yeah. So for me, for One Piece, and it's awesome that you mentioned that. Hold on, I am rocking.
Hey, I saw that on your page today when you was at your track.
Yeah. So
nice.
Rocking the worst generation.
Yes, nice.
So perfect for the topic. So so with me, with One Piece, so I am on One Piece really heavy.
Right.
Which for me, like I mentioned earlier, as somebody that didn't start it back in the day like I did with Naruto and Bleach, I did not expect for it to get its hooks in me the way it has. And so honestly, like One Piece for me is kind of like a constantly moving goalpost that I look forward to every week. Above, even though like there might be plenty other series that I enjoy more for various reasons, One Piece is kind of like a comfort series for me. Yeah. To where it's in a way which it kind of makes me sad to think about the eventual day where One Piece will end.
Right.
But just the fact that, like, hey, you know what? And it might sound kind of cheesy to say or whatever, but sometimes it's like, man, I've had, had a kind of a rough week, a crappy week, but it's like, you know what?
I got One Piece looking for it.
I got One Piece waiting for me at the end of this weekend. So it's kind of like a nice little little fun motivator, just kind of like, okay, you know what, everything's not all bad. There is a pirate light at the end of the tunnel.
Right.
But yeah. So yeah, I've been, heavy on the series, obviously fully caught up with both the anime and the manga. And so as far as to the question of like where I think it's gonna go,
I haven't read it. I'm on chapter like 10, 12 or 10, 14. I forgot, but I'm caught in the anime. So like,
basically. Yeah. And for me, it feels like it's like we have gone so far, right? But it's like there's still some big mysteries. It's like it's weird to think of or to even say out loud, hey, we're 1,000 chapters into the series, and it's like we still don't really know much about Dragon. What's up with Shanks and
Blackbeard,
Blackbeard and stuff like that, which in a way is still exciting because like, hey, there is still more mysteries and more excitement waiting for us to get to. And so and
Oda said 5 more years.
Yeah. And so so with me trying to put that into some type of mind, like some type of like graspable thing, I'm not even like 100% for sure. I do trust and believe that majority of the things that we would like to have answered will be answered by the end, just because we have already seen a lot of long tails on some siege drops. Like example, like, okay, we're in Wano now. Man, we was hearing about Wano like
Thriller
back in
Bark.
Thriller Bark.
That's '08, by the way. That's the year
Yeah,
Thriller Bark came out or was
yeah,
airing.
yeah, exactly. And so it's like okay, hey, we got the seeds planted back in like '08, but
Yeah,
we didn't get to Wano
with 21
actually, yeah,
or
until like
2019. No, 18,
yeah,
8 or something like that.
yeah, and yeah, until like the last few years. So it's like a 10-year,
Right.
waiting thing, or whatever. Which for me, I'm glad I didn't have to wait all that time.
Yeah, I
That's
binged
kind
One
of
Piece in a year, so I've only been watching.
yeah.
So that's the good thing about it. I think I just want Shanks. I want Elbaf next. I want a Shanks arc. I really would love a Shanks arc. I love Shanks, but I can't love him so much because I don't know. We don't know anything
Yeah.
about him. Like we need an Elbaf arc.
Yes, yes. Did you and you bring up the whole like Shanks thing or whatever? It's like, and I can't remember if that was you
Yeah,
or somebody else.
the clip about one of my last guests, he said it Shanks is overrated or something like that, right? Yeah.
Well, not necessarily that one, but like
Oh,
the whole thing about like when Shanks showed up at the reverie, and it was like, okay, like what's up with him?
oh
Like
yeah,
like how does he get to have a private meeting with the Gorosei? And so,
right.
it does start to plant some potential seeds of doubt. I don't want that because, hey, I love Luffy. Luffy loves Shanks, and just thinking about like the potential heartbreak
Right.
of like, oh, Shanks was a bad guy all along, or something like that. It's like, no, please
I
don't do
heard
that.
Shanks could be like a celestial dragon or something like that. Like we don't know. That
Yeah,
that makes the most. I mean, that makes the most sense.
yeah, yeah. Which wouldn't be too surprising because I feel like the door is open for something like that to happen because like we just said, like with him getting as much respect as he gets just across the whole
Well,
pirate world, and then getting to have that one-on-one meeting with the Gorosei, it's like, okay, there's got to be something more than just this dude is strong,
right. He has stat. He has
so
clout or status.
yes, yes. And plus so the fact that like he got to travel with Roger as a kid, and so
Right.
there's all these things set in motion that I can't wait to find out what the payoff is for Shanks, and like you said, Elbaf and Dragon, and who knows what other stuff might
And
come up.
we do have to remember that Sabo has been captured too. So
Yes,
we have
that
to remember
too.
that. So
So yeah, man, it's like
it's crazy.
there's so many seeds always planted, but everything always comes full circle and loops back into the story at some point. It's like it's rare that something gets mentioned, name dropped, a location mentioned, or whatever that is irrelevant.
Yeah.
So, because even just mentioned by like the whole Thriller Bark thing, or whatever, just like when Lola just was like, "Oh yeah, whenever y'all get to the new world, look up my mom. She's a big deal." And we find out all these years later, like, "Oh, her
Big Mom.
mom,
So Big Mom
yeah,
is what Big Mom. Her mom.
yes, yes, yeah,
Yeah.
her mom is Big Mom," and
Right.
it's like, "Whoa, okay."
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Like that. You just like that totally mattered. Like
yes,
so.
yes,
Just a hot take. I think Big Mom's my favorite Yako. I know she's like a meme, but like I think she's our most explored one. Like we know the
yes,
most about her right at this point. We know about
yes.
Kaido, like kind of and stuff like that. But I just remember finding out when they were all like, this is my last One Piece thing that we can move on. But when they were all on, they were all on Rox's crew, like
Crew,
that's
yeah,
just insane to think about. Like you have to think about this
yeah.
isn't like a Naruto world where everybody's just OP. Like this is just like a semi-realistic pirate-ish world, and all these big guys are just on one ship. Like that's pretty crazy. Like
Yes.
this isn't like Bleach where they have lieutenants or Naruto. You got like this is like a world where power scaling isn't that really predominant.
Yeah.
So like, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah. That those set of chapters was freaking insane. I definitely, yeah, those are like some
I was screaming.
series all-time high hype moments, finding out, like you said, like, oh, all these big names that we've seen across the series all used to be together. And then it kind of just begs the question, is like, yo, who was this Rocks dude,
Right.
to where he could get people who are now some of the top tier people in the whole world. He had them under his command at one point in time. But yeah, like finding out that, as well as that was also the same time we found out, or close to the same time where we found out their bounties and stuff, whatever. It was just
the information drops are the best part of the show, probably. So
yes, for sure.
Yeah. So now off to the anime questions for a little bit. I want to ask you, how do you start your podcast? Because we all have a story. Why don't you share it?
Yeah. So, for me, and some of this might get a little sad, but it's necessary for me to explain how I know why, here. But yeah. And so, so for me, the podcast stuff is something that I had kind of been kicking around the idea of doing for a couple of years at least. I would kind of like offhand talk to my wife, like, what, maybe I want to do this podcast thing or something, because, obviously I love, manga, anime, games, all this stuff. And I'm always talking about it with my friends. There's an anime group that I've been in for like 6 years, and almost weekly for 5 or 6 years, I've been doing manga review posts every week. And so it's like, okay, I've already been kind of doing what I'm doing now on the podcast stuff, whatever, but just in different ways.
Right.
And so the things that kind of brought me to the moment of finally starting. So within the last year, back in October of 2020, I lost my older sister. She passed away. And then a few months later, in January of this year, my mom passed. And so those two things, those two people who I am very close with, because, obviously, aside from my sister just being my sister, she was kind of like another mother to me, because with me and my siblings, there is a big age gap between us. So, I'm 31. My sister is 13 years older than me, and my brother is 16 years older than me. So yeah. So
my brother, he's 1 now, so I'm about 17 years older.
Oh wow.
That was just crazy.
Yeah.
But
so you on the opposite end of me.
right. And my sister is 14, so
okay.
A little closer.
Okay. So with with me losing both of them within such close proximity, obviously, that led to a lot of grieving and different stuff. And so there was a point towards like the end of February, beginning of March, to where honestly I was like close to pretty much like a mental breakdown, just because of the fact that it's like I kind of because I kind of pushed through a little bit of the stuff with my sister. I probably didn't take off as much time as what I should have, like from work and stuff, whatever. I took like a little bit of time off, but I kind of kept going. But after that, it was just like a barrage, because also in between there, my wife's grandfather passed like 2 days before Christmas. So it was like my sister passed in October, my father-in-law Christmas, my mom January, and then here in Texas, we had that freak ice storm in February. Yeah. And so and that happened literally like a couple weeks after I got back from the stuff with my mom. And so I was just starting going back to work, because I took like almost like a month off of work almost with when the stuff happened with my mom. And then, like I said, going right into that snowstorm, the ice storm thing we had here in Texas. And then it was like, I was sitting around one day, and as I do, my mind wandering, I'm getting sad, getting depressed, thinking about them and different stuff. And I kind of had a moment to where it was like, okay, I can't keep going on the way I'm going. And so I'm like, I need an outlet. I need something to direct my thoughts, my energy towards. And so that's when I started looking into more deeper the podcast stuff of like, okay, what all would I need? What avenues can I take? What programs, so on and so forth. And yeah, I ended up just kind of diving in. I didn't, you know, I still don't have like a official logo and all that stuff, whatever. I'll get to that at some point. But for me, it was primarily just a thing of like, hey, I just need to vent and talk into the void. And it wasn't even a thing of, I wasn't even aiming for the podcast stuff to really go anywhere. Because for me, it was, initially, it was like, hey, I am doing this for myself, for my well-being. And hey, if somebody out there listens or is on the receiving end of my words, cool. If not, then me doing this for myself is fine enough.
Right.
And so that's kind of where things began. But I have quickly learned in the time that I've been doing this, because a few days ago, I just hit my 3-month anniversary of doing the podcast stuff. And in that time, things have gone way further and way beyond anything I could have imagined in this short time period.
Right.
It was always like, oh, you know what, maybe someday down the road, numbers might start picking up and, somebody might listen or whatever down the road. But this community that we're in of the different podcasters and stuff, me, you, and a whole host of other awesome people, I found that it is a very supportive group to be in, because we all kind of, like we talked about at the top, we might not be able to, watch every single thing, but even just the simple stuff of like, what, hey, I'm gonna just shout out this person, or hey, I'll retweet when they post, hey, I got a new episode out. Even if I don't get to listen to it, I'll retweet it, I'll, reshare it on Instagram, whatever ways I can, because this has become a thing of like, hey, we are all coming up together. It's like, what, I might not have the time and the hours to keep up with everybody, but that doesn't mean that I can't at least like, hey, there might be somebody that's following me that doesn't know you, but just because I retweet or I reshare something, it gets in front of somebody else's eyeballs, and then it kind of spins out from there. And so yeah, it this early journey, like I said, has been very awesome. Something that I love doing, and I've gotten to meet just so many awesome people. Like I said, even in this short amount of time, it's like I have, I'm here podcasting with you. I've more or less become a regular over on the My Hero Academia podcast, because now that one kind of blew my mind, because that was one of those shoot your shot type of situations to where I literally just commented on one of their posts one day of like, hey, it'd be cool if someday in the future I get to come on or whatever, because I'm just starting podcasting stuff. I'm like, hey, I need to build up some more recognition before anybody would want to have me on. And literally within a day or so, the host DM'd me and she was like, hey, do you want to come on? And so I've been brought into the fold there. So I've done stuff with them. I've done Dr. Stone podcast, Jujutsu Kaisen podcast. I did a dad podcast a couple weeks ago, and and here like I said, once again, here I am with you. And so it's like, man, I've got to do so much in such a short time window that it's like, it it gives me hope and reassurance of where this can go down the road.
Right. Man, you got a story. That's the story. It just, you're showing
Yeah.
your strength, man. I mean, lose a mom and a sister and with COVID, got kids and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So it's just that's a story, man. I don't even know how, like, I'm so close to my mom. You saw like the episode.
Yeah.
I would imagine, most guys are close to their mom. Like it's just
Yeah.
that's just crazy. I can't even imagine, man. Like I really props up, man. I really
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I definitely appreciate the kind words and stuff. And yeah, man, it's still kind of, you know, those situations are still kind of surreal.
right.
And obviously, hey, like I said, I'm just barely a handful of months away from the situation and stuff. So, so obviously it's going to take time with that stuff. But, it, like I said, it's a thing of me having this podcast and having this community, having my family
Right.
to kind of help support me and to keep me going. Has definitely been, very, very awesome to have that type of system to continue to do what I do.
Man, like again, it's just like I remember listening to your first episode. I was just like, man, like really. And then I listened to some more and just like, you're so upbeat and keep going. So now I want to ask you,
Yeah.
if you could have three guests on your podcast, it doesn't have to be anime related. It can be like, maybe even your mom. Like I know you would probably love that, but
Yeah.
it can be anybody you want. Three guests, anime related or non-related.
Trying to think. a super wild dream one would probably be I don't know, maybe Oda or just some other,
Right.
Manga creator.
But Oda be giving no answers in his interview. You could be like,
Yeah.
so how do you feel about this? Well, I just thought about it and I put it on the
Yeah.
thing. But I mean, you're gonna get a crazy amount of attention for that. Like,
Oh yeah. Oh
yeah.
yeah, for sure. So I'm trying to think him. Oh, one for sure that actually just popped in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Hope I can't believe I might butcher his name, but Johnny Young Bach. The shoot, did I just butcher his the basically the voice actor for Ichigo and
Oh, the dub
Vash
or
and
sub? For the dub?
the dub. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
okay.
dub.
Yeah, that's a good dub. That's a good dub.
Yes.
I'm about to drop a clip tonight, so you'll see.
Yeah. So getting Johnny on would be a super big one for me because with him, I love the work he does in general because like I said, he voices many of my favorite characters
Right.
across time, like I said, from Ichigo to Vash the Stampede to shoot. Oh, well, my brain got blank. Ichigo, Vash. I can't believe I am going blank on one of my all-time favorite voice actors.
Mm-hmm.
But anywho, Lelouch from
Oh
Code
yeah.
Geass too.
My co-host, not Rashid Rashawn, he said Code Geass is a 5 out of 10.
To each their own.
No, we have anyway, keep going. Keep going.
So yeah, for sure him, because like I said, like him voicing a lot of my favorite characters. Found out that like me and him share the same birthday.
Hey.
And going with him voicing my favorite characters, with him voicing Vash the Stampede, my baby boy, my 3-year-old, his name is Vash. So that is another connection I have with him as well. So yeah, so for sure him. And
so that third one, man.
Let me think. Who from where would be somebody I would like to have on? I don't know, kind of drawing a blank. Mate, I, I don't know why this name just popped in my head, but because I don't know, maybe J. Cole.
J. Cole, okay. Everybody loves J. Cole.
Yeah,
Yeah, who doesn't like J. Cole?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So I don't, I don't know, how into any of the stuff, as far as like anime and games
right.
and stuff, whatever.
But just
But who
interviewing him,
knows?
just talking to
Yeah,
him, right?
yeah, because he seemed like he'd be, he seemed like he's a pretty chill dude, and he probably have, drop some knowledge bombs and stuff on us as he, kind of has over the years. So that I guess that would be kind of my tentative three: Oda,
Oda,
Johnny Youngbach, and J.
J.
Cole.
Cole. That's a star studded list right there, man. It's a
I
star studded
know,
list.
I
So
know.
you got a good list because mine was I think I said Megan Thee Stallion. She likes anime. She makes a lot of music. So I think mine was Kobe, of course. That was probably one of my favorite basketball players.
Yeah.
And then three, I said my mom, but I already had her on. So, you know.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Now,
Yeah.
huh?
No, sorry. I was gonna say real quick, like me watching that episode you did with your mom, it did definitely kind of made me think of like the alternative reality
Right.
of, cause for my mom, I don't even know if I could have gotten her to do
Right. Yeah,
anything
it was a
like
struggle,
that.
man.
Yeah.
It was like we were about what 40, 30 episodes because we were about to leave for Christmas. So I was like, man, we
Yeah.
have to do this. Like, I know you're. So then she just got up on there. We talked some anime, talked about my experience, I guess, getting bullied about it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was
Yeah.
great, man.
Yeah. So, I don't know if my mom would ever do it. I know for sure my sister, she would have been, she would have been knocking at my door like as soon as she would have heard, like, oh wait, my little brother got a podcast. Oh
right.
yeah,
Even
let's
my
get
mom
on,
didn't
let's
watch
talk.
anime. She just would have been on there just because.
Oh yeah,
she didn't like.
Oh yeah,
so,
oh yeah.
Yeah, man, it's great. So
yes,
I got to ask you. Now we're gonna get to a little anime questions.
Yeah.
You gotta give me 3 animes or mangas you think are overrated. Offend some people, man.
Man.
But I know you're you like the type of person like, everything's good in their own way. Like you give me those vibes. Like everything's good.
Yeah. that is definitely me, but I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think because I don't know, because for me, because most of the stuff that I watch, if it's something I'm not vibing with, I'll just kind of leave it at the wayside and just kind of go about my business. I don't know. I'm trying. I'm gonna see if maybe I can at least maybe come up with maybe at least one.
All right, you don't need 3. Give me one. That's just, you're very positive.
Let's see. Something. So it's like now I'm trying to go through like my mental Rolodex of all the different stuff I've seen and read over these many years. I don't know. I'm like, I might have to take a moment just try to think about that a little bit more.
It's cool. We can come back to it.
Yeah, because my brain is otherwise it's like, hey, let's take a 5-minute intermission.
Right. So, all right, for my next question for you, what do you think are some 3 underrated animes? I mean, I think Dr. Stone's highly underrated.
Yes,
I love me some Dr. Stone, man. I like season 2 as much as I like season 1 because I don't think Dr. Stone's a show or manga that can go on. I don't think Dr. Stone will be successful if it tries to go on for like 100+ episodes. I don't think personally me because it's a show where like it kind of just grabs you and it's like there's not enough action is I guess going on to get the masses to stay as like I guess to care much about the series. I feel like if it doesn't really end by this season, it's gonna really drop in numbers.
So Dr. Stone is definitely one that I rock with a lot.
Right.
It is definitely something that I look forward to reading every week, because they Dr. Stone just hit chapter 200 last Sunday. And so, but yeah, Dr. Stone is definitely one I would put in that conversation as far as, underrated series that don't get enough attention and love. Another one I would say, as far as like not enough attention from like the wider masses, and that would be Vinland Saga.
I love Vinland Saga.
Yeah,
That was really good.
yeah. Vinland Saga is a series to where I feel like when people get into it and try it, then they understand.
I know some people
But
say the start of it's slow, but I mean, almost every show kind of starts off,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
it has to build the world.
exactly. So yeah, definitely Vinland Saga is one that I definitely feel needs and deserves more attention. And let me think. Hmm.
Have you seen the show? I just want to know, curious. Have you seen Bungo Stray Dogs or read it?
Yes,
How do you feel
yes.
about it?
I've read it. I mean, I've watched it. I've
I love
watched
it.
it.
I love
Yeah,
it.
yeah. That is a series that I don't even know why I watched it in the first
Right.
place. I guess for me, like every anime season, I'll at least kind of like run through and look at like, okay, like what's coming up. And
Right.
plus I follow enough manga and anime YouTubers and stuff, whatever, to where that's also kind of how I get put on other series. It's like,
Right.
okay, I come to this person for, One
Um,
Piece and whatever stuff, but along the way, they might mention this other thing. It's like, oh, okay, I like this other stuff that they're already watching. They're talking about this other thing. So I'll go from there. So yeah. So yeah.
Can I give
Bungo
you a
Stray
funny
Dogs is a
story?
good one.
Can I give you a
Yeah,
funny story how I got in Bungo? So basically, this is summer of 2019. I think the third season had just came out,
yeah.
and we were in Osaka. That's the one of the cities
Mm,
that Bungo Stray Dogs is based out of. So me
yeah.
and my co-host Rashid, I don't know, y'all know if you've seen him or whatever, but he's like the
Hmm.
one with the beard and waves like that. So we
Yeah.
were in getting like some buttons to bring back to just to give to I guess parent or grandparents and stuff like that. To
Yeah.
give back. And I said, okay, what is this? And it's like Dazai's some main character. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what is this? He's like, it's from Bungo Stray Dogs. I said, so is it good? He was like, it's really, really good. So then basically we went to the cafe later and they had like all a Bungo Stray Dogs themed cafe. And it
Oh,
was just because it's based off a cafe too. So
yeah.
we had like I had some coffee, it was really good. And then I just came home and I was like, I'm gonna watch it. And I really like it. Like it's a really good show, man. I don't know when it's
Yes.
coming back because COVID schedule has everything
Yes. Yeah.
delayed, but I like
Everything's
it
out
a
of
lot.
whack.
Right.
That's definitely a good series that's under the radar. Um,
What would your third be if you got to it?
yeah, I was trying to think. Okay, one for sure. I want to give. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna give two more because I'm not
Right.
gonna count the
Right.
Dr. Stone as
Right.
part of my three since you brought it up.
Right.
Like, I found my loophole in the system.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
so yeah, so two that I want to give a shout out and love to is March Comes In Like a Lion
Okay. I've heard that.
and Ushio and Torah. So Ushio and Torah, I'm trying to think. So that series is based off of I think the manga for that was like from the 90s.
Right.
And so when you look at it, it definitely you definitely get that kind of like mid to late 90s to early 2000s kind of vibe from just like the way it looks. But I don't know, just something about just like the interactions between the two main characters. So I guess like the basic premise of the series is the main character Ushio, and then there is this kind of like cat demon thing called Torah
Mhm.
that is like supposedly like one of like the baddest demons or whatever. Well, through various circumstances, they end up getting tied together or bound together. And so just their journey of them kind of like bickering with each other in a way, but when it really comes down to it, you know, they can work together and fight together and stuff. And so,
Right.
but yeah, so anyway, so that's definitely one series that I feel deserves more love. It's on Crunchyroll for anybody out there that might be curious. Check it out. I think it's maybe like I want to say like 60 episodes if I'm remembering right. So yeah, so Ushio and Torah, and then the other one, March comes in like a lion.
I've heard a lot of good stuff about it. It's been on my list for like a long time.
Yes. So the the surface level explanation of what the series is about is basically about the main character. He is a prodigy shogi player. And so, you know, for those who don't know, shogi, I guess kind of think of it as kind of like a different, I guess like a board game that's maybe similar to like a chess or something
Yeah,
like
that's what I
that.
was saying. Isn't it kind of like a chess?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so basically the series just kind of follows his journey being this prodigy and him going through all these different tournaments and the different people he meet along the way. And so I guess it's kind of more in like the slice of life
Right.
type of genre,
Right.
but the characters and the whole vibe of it or whatever, it's definitely a series that, like I said, definitely deserves more love and more people checking it out. So yeah, it's definitely that one's for sure a for sure underrated one that I wanted to
Give some
give
light.
some love to. Yeah.
Right. So my next, I guess, topic question for you: what is your least favorite anime genre? I know we love all anime, but it's one genre. What's one genre you're just like, I might not go to that one?
Oh, I guess maybe horror stuff.
Right.
And for me, that's kind of just more so. I'm not too big into horror stuff in general across the board, video games, TV
I
shows.
just saw Conjuring, man. So yeah, I get you. Girlfriend,
So
she drugged me there, man.
yeah.
Ugh, I don't
Yeah,
know.
so I have never really been a fan of that genre across the board. Now, I do want to try to at least like dip my toes into the water
Right.
a little bit with
So
some of that stuff
you're not
eventually.
doing like a Tokyo Ghoul Berserk type of thing.
Now those I can do. So
Right.
I've read all of Tokyo Ghoul and and I'm up to date on, or I've read all of what is available for Berserk. So those type of, I guess, kind of like,
Thrillers, I guess.
yeah, thrillers and stuff I could kind of deal with. I guess it's kind of like some of like the more like over the top, like just pure, just like gore
Yeah.
type of stuff. It's stuff I just can't really do too much, but I'm a try, because
Right.
my plan for October of this year is to pick a horror series and to at least like, hey,
I
give it a
tried it.
try.
Right.
Yeah, give it a try. So
I got one for you. It's called Another. It's pretty
I've heard of that. I'm trying
or
to
Elfen
think.
Lied but Elfen Lied might not be that scary. It might be more like a psychological.
Yeah, because I've seen Elfen Lied,
Right.
man, many years ago.
Oh four.
But
Oh four. Old
yeah,
anime.
still love that intro though.
Yeah, the
Love that
intro goes
intro.
hard. It
Yes.
was kind of weird, but I pushed through it. I like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Oh,
So so yeah, I might give that one a shot. Maybe on the anime side. On the manga side, I kind of been eyeballing Uzumaki,
I've
because
heard of
I've
it.
heard good things about that, and every time I go to any like bookstore, comic store, or whatever, like I feel like all of the covers and stuff for any of the series made by Juji Ito, which is the author that does Uzumaki. All of them stand out and will grasp your attention. So even if you're not looking for horror stuff, it's gonna pop out.
Yeah, it's gonna get to you.
Yeah. So I think that might be the one I'm kind of, because I know that's kind of condensed into one thing. So I think that might be something easily digestible for me to at least like try, dip in, and get out.
Dip out. Yeah. So I feel you. I feel you. So
Yeah.
what would you think is your favorite genre? Shonen, probably.
Yeah, probably shonen as well as seinen as well.
Right.
Obviously, the shonen just because of
The feel good.
Yeah, the feel good, the various adventures, a lot of those series take you on. But I have really fallen in love with seinen stuff a lot more in recent years,
right.
Between stuff, like Vinland Saga, Kingdom, and series like that,
right.
To where I guess for me, which I kind of in some ways wish that One Piece was kind of structured in a way like Kingdom and Vinland Saga are, to where you actually see these characters aging and them getting stronger and more experience is more realistic, because like for example, Kingdom, I think at this point, like a handful of years have passed,
right.
and it makes sense for how the character has grown over time. It's like when I look at Kingdom across 600 chapters versus like One Piece across 600 chapters, it's like they both have done a lot, but it's kind of like weird in a way to think, like if you think about it too long, it's like, okay, that's weird that it's like, Luffy them have been on all these adventures, but it's only been like a couple of years.
right. Yeah. Like they've only been like the crew has only been going around for like 2.5 years. Not even that long.
Yeah. Versus like with Kingdom, they have like these big arcs, these big wars and stuff. Right. But after each arc, they have like their kind of like their wrap up and their accolades and stuff. But then there's a passage of time.
There's like kind of like a peace period, maybe type of thing. Like
yes.
Whereas in Shonen, you're going from art to art to art.
Yes. And so that's definitely one thing I've loved about like stuff like Kingdom and Vinland Saga, to where it's like, okay, hey, some months have passed. All right, now we're about to go into battle from the next adventure, whatever. So those two genres I love for different reasons, but kind of equally.
I think for me, like right now, I would probably say shonen science, but like romance is my two. Like romance, the only thing I probably get tired of romance is sometimes you get the stereotypical, like maybe there's the popular dude, the girl doesn't want her, like the popular girl, the dude, like but like it's still like I think it's so relatable to me, because as somebody who's still in school, like I've legit seen like every romance story. So it's pretty funny to see that in the anime. So I really like, it's hard to find like a lot of guys who like romance, like in general, with real life movies and sitcoms and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I do like them. They're wholesome, and it just takes a break from like me seeing, Luffy gum nobody or laser like that. So
and I agree with you. Because and you saying that, I had actually came across a thread actually this morning, I believe, where somebody had pretty much echoed what you just said, that like, hey, more people need to check out other genres aside from just shonen, because like what we've both just talked about, it's like there is so much stuff out there, and heck, even all the stuff I showed earlier,
all shonen.
Yeah. And so, it's just so much stuff out there, because that's one reason why I've also been enjoying going through 20th Century Boys, manga, because that's more like a sci-fi thriller.
Right.
And so, it's definitely like you said, like a break from the stuff I'm normally reading week to week. So yeah. Anybody out there watching and listening, please shake it up, try something new, go. I encourage people to go, if you have a comic book store, manga store, whatever in your area, just go and browse around, because like I mentioned at the top of the show,
Bro, he is frozen. Oh. On technical difficulties here. You was frozen for like a cool, like, I don't know if
okay.
was it me or you? I don't know who was.
Well, I know. There's been like a few points. Hold on. Is my mic muted or no? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you good.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, there's been like a few points throughout the show where you frozen for like a second, like right now you're frozen.
No, I'm not.
So it's
so
happening. Okay, now you're unfrozen.
Okay.
Yeah. I've been able to hear you the whole time,
Right,
but your image has frozen a couple times here and there. But
I'll go through it.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I was saying, if you have access to a comic book store, manga store, whatever in your area, I encourage you to just go out and just browse around and just see, because there's a wide world out there of so many series, to try out that don't get brought to the mainstream, they never get an anime adaptation and stuff like that. So yeah.
Right. And then like another thing, like, as I talk to, like, seeing, like, I guess people, like, since I'm kind of like, I guess in school, this is kind of like a primer where you see like a lot of different types of people, and I guess work too, where you see different types of people. Mm-hmm. I've heard people like, boy and group, like, anime is weird, but I'm just like, there's an anime for everybody. Like, where you like romance, you like cool action, there's action, like, of course there's action. You like psychological, you like history, like Montreal of the Patriot. That's an anime based on history. I mean, JoJo has some history references. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff out here. You just have to go looking, and I guess it also depends on who recommend you stuff. But like, if you really want to get into it, there's a lot of stuff out here. And we have the internet now. We're not in the 90s or 80s. Like, you can look up anime genres. Like, so much stuff out here.
For sure. Yeah, that's that's kind of the beauty of of the type of stuff that we do, as far as like podcasting and just being active online, is that we have platforms to try to speak on and elevate lesser known series, different types of genres and stuff like that, to where like I mentioned earlier, where I'm like, okay, somebody might come to us for oh, he's into One Piece or Bleach or whatever, cool. But along the way, they hear you talk about, a romance series or a thriller or whatever. It's like, oh, okay, well, we have similar taste here. Maybe I'll like that too. So
it's just like I've had a few friends that have like, or people, I guess I don't even like to call fans, I just supporters, whatever.
Yeah.
Supporters, people listen, and they'll deem me to be like, Gensho or Chris or whatever you want to call me. They'll be like, I want a romance anime. Can you give me one? Sure. They're like, wait, you just talk about One Piece. I said, I talk about One Piece for one episode, but I don't just sit down and, I'm not like, I guess, no shade or nothing, but, I know guys like Tekking or 101, he does a lot of One Piece reviews, but I mean, he does a lot of different anime reviews, but I know, One Piece gets his views, so he's going to make One Piece videos.
Yeah.
So it's like, there's a lot of people who might just do one series, but that doesn't mean that's the only thing they're watching, or maybe a few episodes. So
exactly. And just, I guess just using Taking as an example, every now and then, and he usually does it like a few times a year, whenever like One Piece is on break, he'll do a video like on, hey, Undead Unluck or Mashal,
Right.
or just, Villain Saga or whatever.
Kingdom.
Yeah. To where it's like, okay, hey, you know what? Okay, my bread and butter series is on break this week or for a couple of weeks. All right, here's this other thing I've been reading in the background. Let me bring it to the forefront.
Right, and he has a big enough platform to where even if
it's
not just One Piece, like somebody there, he's gonna get 400, 300K views off of it.
Yeah, exactly. And so
and put more people onto it who are only One Piece viewers, like maybe, but Techie, like you said, Techie likes that, I should go watch it. People are like that. So
yep, exactly. And so and that's kind of why I've been trying to do, or I could, like, in a way, doing stuff how I've been doing with my releases is, of course, I have my weekly stuff like every week. Robert's going to talk about One Piece, My Hero, Dr. Stone, the usual stuff.
right.
But and that's one thing I loved about doing these manga read-throughs is like, okay, I'll just do an episode that's strictly dedicated to just Villain Saga or 20th Century Boys or this other stuff as I go through them, because it's like, okay, somebody is coming to me for these things, but then they'll get an update like, oh, Robert put out a new thing. Oh, what is this 20th Century Boys thing? So yeah, it's very awesome to be able to share this with other people.
Yeah, for sure. So I want to ask you, I got 2 more things. I'm gonna start doing this thing now where I give all my guests 3 recommendations. If you've seen them, tell me if you have, and I'll just be like, all right. So I have 3 recommendations for you.
Yeah.
I'll start with one of my favorite ones that are underrated. I don't know if you've seen it. Uhura no Sora. It's a basketball anime. Came out 2019 winter. I don't know if you've seen it or completed, but it's really good.
Yes, I've started it. Actually, I need to go back and finish it because I got pretty deep into it. Because I think one of the last episodes I watched, I think his mom had just got to that one game,
right?
Like for the first time again to actually come and watch a game. So yeah. So thank you for bringing that up because I do need to go back in and finish watching that.
Right. Okay. So my second one for you is it's this season actually. It is called After Being Rejected, I Shaved and Took in a High School Girl Runaway. So it's not, I know sounds crazy.
Oh yeah.
It's 11 episodes.
Yeah.
It's about basically this girl who's a runaway child. She's I think 17, and then the dude who takes her is 22. And he's kind of like trying to help her establish her life while also, doing the fact that kind of just took in a child. But it is a really good anime, short. Yeah. And I want you to, try it out, see if you like it or whatever. And for my third and final one, I'm gonna say Burning Kadobi. I don't know if you did you talk. I don't know if you talked or seen it. It's basically another sports one. I'm not a sports fanatic, but I heard you talk about you like your kids play and stuff like that. So I was like, why not? Yeah. It's basically about this kid who's known as a star soccer player joins I guess it's a professional gymnastic teams, and he's trying to adjust to the different sports. These are all on Crunchyroll.
Okay. So, okay. I'll have to
and I'll text you the list just in case you forget.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, cause those other 2 I for sure haven't heard about, and that first one, like I said, I started, just need to go back and
I just like the realism of that show. It makes the show makes sense. As somebody who plays I do love Kuroko no Basket. I love Kuroko no Basket. It's great. Yeah. It's on wrist. It's literally a shonen with the basketball. As somebody who I'm not short as he is, not short, but he's 5'5", going through the process of well, I'm not the tallest guy out here. Yeah. And it's just I have to work on my game. He has unorthodox shot. He shoots with both hands and unorthodox. Yeah. And it's just he kind of has to take this rag that tag a team. And it's kind of fun. I like their big man or whatever. I don't know if you got that far. You remember the big tall guy? Yeah. So I'm the same height as him or whatever. So it's kind of funny to see people are telling him you need to be tough for that. So I'm you hear the exact same thing, and these coaches and this and that. So it's I'm just excited to see how they do with season 2 or whatever. I'm really excited.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I guess I kind of want to toss some back to you. Granted, like how you said to me, I
Yeah,
don't know if
yeah, I'm
you've
cool. I'm cool.
seen these or not. Um, Megalobox. Have you
Yes.
seen that series? Or are you watching a Nomad?
No, I have not. I'm not.
Okay.
I've heard some.
So
I've heard some iffy things about it though. I'm not gonna lie.
so Nomad, Megalobox season 2, Nomad.
Mm,
Honestly, for me, it has been fantastic from episode 1 to now. And honestly, once again, for me, it is potentially going to be sitting somewhere and potentially like my top 10 favorite
mhm.
series or uh favorites of all time, honestly. That's how strong this second season has been for me. So definitely, yeah, check out Nomad when you get a chance. Because I think maybe the final episode is coming out tomorrow, because I think it's just going to be 12 episodes.
Okay.
um Trying to think, the one I mentioned earlier, the Ushio and Torah. If you haven't seen that one yet, check it out. Like I said, just a fun, good time series. And let me think. I'm trying to think of something. Maybe I'll just go with just those two right now, because those are the ones that kind of immediately came to mind, um, as some stuff to check out. Actually, on the manga front, have you read Spy Family?
Yes, I'm reading Spy
Okay.
Family. Spy Family.
Okay.
I don't know when it's getting it. I thought I heard like 2022 or 3 or something like that, but I don't know when it's getting anime. But it's really good. It's really, it's gonna do some things. That and Chainsaw Man is about to do some things.
Yes, yes,
That's
for
gonna do some
sure.
things. So yeah,
For
you got any
sure.
more for me? Like one more? Because I know we did. There's
Yeah. Let me think. Hmm. Actually, okay. I guess since I mentioned that I'm going through 20th Century Boys right now, have you ever seen Monster?
I've heard so many things. I have not started Monster. I heard it's really great. Like I heard it's like top 10 type of great.
Yeah, yeah.
Where can I watch it
Monster.
at? Where can I find it at? Crunchyroll.
So, so Monster is one of those to where it's not. Unfortunately, it's not officially on any of those streaming services. I think I had a when I watched it a year or so ago. Somebody on YouTube had like all the episodes on YouTube. So yeah, unfortunately, that's one of those ones to where
Fine.
it hasn't been licensed
Right.
by anybody. And I don't know why, because it's one of those legendary series,
Mm-hmm.
but just unfortunately, it just hasn't been
Somebody picked
picked
it
up
up.
by anybody. So yeah, so if you can
A
find a
smaller, a
way to watch
smaller
it.
company needs to go pick that up. Somebody's not doing so well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah,
I've heard
Monster
like I
would be
saw a
where I
lot of
find
it
them.
on TikTok. Like I heard it's really great.
Yes. And that's what got me to give 20th Century Boys a chance, because it's the same author. So I was like, okay, I like Monster, so let me give this other one a shot. So yeah, I think that'll be kind of my few recommendations. Like I said, as far as like stuff I can recall off the top of my head. Aside from the stuff I mentioned earlier, like Marsh comes in like a lion and stuff like that. So
Okay, okay.
yeah,
Now I have my final question for you, man. You gotta
yeah,
give me your top five. I would do 10, but I might be just crazy to do off the
yeah.
top. Give me your top five anime all the time.
So okay, so this will be my list as of this recording,
Okay.
because I've been thinking about going back and revising some of this, because a lot of these series have been in place for so long
Mm-hmm.
that I'm like, okay, maybe I need to like reevaluate. But for now, uh number one, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Mm-hmm.
Uh love that series. Have it, if I can get it on camera, have
Hey,
it
not
tattooed on my arm. So that is a series that is good in general, but that one I really bonded to with the beginning of it, because there's a part at the beginning of Brotherhood where, or there's a moment where Ed and Al burn down their home when they're leaving, so that they don't have basically as an excuse, like, hey, we have to keep moving forward because we don't have anywhere to fall back on. And forgive me for this tangent, I'm going to go on with this, but it'll, like I said, explain why it's positioned as number one for me. So at that same time, I had just left home and went off to college. Now, my hometown I grew up in, small country town, Southeast Texas. I'll toss the name out there, Jasper, Texas. If you've heard of it, you know. If you haven't heard of it,
I don't know.
Yeah, that I could talk to you about that stuff offline. But yeah. Jasper isn't the best place in the world, right. Even considering how small it is. But anywho, like I said, the parallel of Ed and Al burning their home and giving them something to go to continue to push forward towards. Right. I kind of felt that because, or it spoke to me in a way because it's like, okay, hey, I finally made it out of this small town because where I come from, everybody knows everybody. And there's a lot of people, there's a lot of families that have been in town for generations and never leave. And so it's like, hey, if you get an opportunity to, if you get an opportunity to leave, even if it's just, to Houston or it's just some other Beaumont, whatever in the area, get out, explore the world. And so that moment in Full Metal in Brotherhood really spoke to me of like, okay, hey, I made it past the town. Now I need to continue to push forward and do my best to not get stuck back in that place. Right. So long way of saying that's my number one.
Okay, what's your number two?
Yeah, so number two for me is Trigun for a whole host of reasons. One, just because I love Vash the Stampede and all his antics and him as a character, and just his whole thing of love and peace and him just while he gets unnecessarily blamed for a lot of stuff that he actually didn't do, but he still takes those burdens upon himself to help out other people and stuff. And so for a long time it was my number three, but what switched it up to my number two is I had started reading the manga in recent years after my son was born, my son named Vash. And so the manga goes way beyond what the anime does. And so I'm like, okay, I gotta elevate this. And like I said, with me naming my child after the character, I have to elevate it as well. So Trigun is number two. Number three right now is Code Geass.
Okay.
And I don't know, that might be one that I think, like, looking back on it over time, it might be time for me to shuffle that down the list a bit. Because while I did enjoy it, I watched that almost like 10 plus years ago now. And I've seen a lot more stuff since then. So, but for now, hey, it'll get to keep that spot for now. Number four, I'll say Dora. Now
that came out 2019, right?
I think the final season of that came out in 2019. Yeah, I think it had started back in like 2014, maybe, because they did a whole like several seasons, and each season was like super long. Right. But yeah, that series is one that, to be honest, it is hard to follow because they constantly jump around between a lot of characters doing a lot of things simultaneously, but they end up weaving their story threads and stuff together at various points.
Right.
And just the way that it kind of wraps up together at the end, where it's like, hey, all these characters and storylines and stuff that have been so spread out across the whole series have all culminated back into a focal point. And so that was just something that I just, really took to and really enjoyed. So that's number 4. I'm trying to think. So number 5, I'm gonna give this to Kids on the Slope.
Never heard of it, man.
So Kids on the Slope, it is a series. I'm trying to think. I guess genre wise, it would fall somewhere in slice of life, but it's focused around music, to where, and honestly, it's been so long since I've seen it that some of the plot threads have kind of gotten lost in my mind to time. But basically, you get these characters that end up coming together that are like polar opposites, to where like one of the main characters, he is kind of like very quiet, very reserved, but he was kind of like a piano prodigy growing up. And then this other guy that he meets, because if I'm remembering correctly, I think he ends up getting transferred to a new school or something of the sort, and he meets this other character that kind of has like a semi bad rap for being like a bad boy, always been in trouble, whatever. But this kid is like super good on the drums. And so just throughout the series, them as well as other characters end up coming together to form this little band and music group. And yeah, overall it's really good. I think that one's only like 12 episodes.
Okay.
And yeah, and I think that one's on Crunchyroll, if I remember.
It kind of sounds correctly. Like Given. Have you seen Given?
I'm trying to think. I've heard of that one for sure. I don't think I haven't seen it.
Given's like a band anime type of thing too.
Yeah. And so one last little cool thing about Kids on the Slope, which I just found out recently, is that I think it is the first anime series that Mappa worked on. So when I was, obviously, with them working on the recent season of Attack on Titan and Jujutsu Kaisen and all this other stuff,
they're making a fortune.
Yeah, I was looking back just through like their history of stuff that they've made, and at the very beginning, I saw Kids on the Slope, and I think that was like 2011, 2012, and so I'm like, wow, okay. So but yeah, that'll kind of be, I think that'd be my top 5. And just to kind of run through them again: Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, Trigun, Code Geass, Dora, and Kids on the Slope.
Hey, you got that 5. So before we get out of here, you can plug your stuff, plug wherever we can find you.
Yeah. So like I said, my name is Robert. I am the host of Dad Needs to Talk podcast. My podcast in general, I cover everything from fatherhood / parenting, manga, anime, video games, and whatever stuff might be going on with me for that week or for that episode. So yeah, so you can find me on Twitter and Instagram. It's all at Dad Needs to Talk, or Instagram is Dad Needs to Talk podcast. Website dadneedstotalk.com. And yeah, I think that's it as far as all the socials and stuff. And my personal Twitter, if anybody's interested, it's Mastermind Rob 7. But if you forget, that's in my bio for the podcast and stuff. So
I need to get more active on Twitter, but I feel like it's like a old person thing now. Or like Facebook too.
Oh yeah. It is definitely there's so many platforms to where it's definitely kind of like a pick your poison, because it's like if you try to do too much on too many, then you kind of stretch your stuff a little bit thin. So yeah, so I'm primarily more active on Twitter and a little bit on Instagram. I guess it's kind of like my two main social media things. But and I guess just to explain like scheduling, uh I for sure drop my main episodes every Monday morning, weekly. And in between there, I might drop bonus episodes. Like I said, I do manga read throughs. So if it's like, oh, hey, I'm reading through my next volume for 20th Century Boys or whatever, that might be a separate episode I do later in the week. Or, I've also started doing these kind of more personal episodes that I call life lessons and memories, where I kind of will just pick a different like life topic. Like, oh, I talked about like this morning, I dropped the episode about Father's Day, but to me, like my journey as a father. So I did that. I talked about an episode about like what it's like being a parent raising child athletes. So
I listened to that one actually, like the other
yeah,
days ago. So it was wholesome, man.
yeah, appreciate it. So yeah, that's kind of me in a nutshell. I'm a dad that talks about the things I love and the things I do.
All right, man. Thank you for coming on again. And
Oh
before we
yeah.
get out here, you guys can follow Anime Gensho everywhere. We're on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, all social media platforms, and YouTube, of course. Before we got here, go follow my two co-hosts at RGAP2. That's his anime podcast platform too, and he does comedy stuff, whatever. And you can go follow my co-host at Isaac.Lins. He's a photographer. If you're in the North Carolina to Georgia area, please hit him up. And I hope you guys enjoy this episode. Stay safe. Peace.